Hey Cancer, what's going on? We are here with your reading, what you need to know for January. The first card that we have out is the Magician. We also have Temperance and we have Wheel of Fortune. With Magician and Temperance, it indicates you being in the process of manifesting something. However, it can be something that you have to sort of stick with this. When we have Temperance, it indicates that whatever this is that you're trying to do here is not going to be instant. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some adjusting. It's going to take some moving around. And it feels like there are also things that in time they're going to sort of come into play. It's kind of like there's a recipe and you have some of the ingredients but you don't have all of them. When you move certain things around, when you put certain ingredients into the recipe, when you need the next ingredients, they're going to be delivered, but it feels like it sort of happens more incrementally rather than you having everything there in front of you to just do it at whatever pace you want. This feels more so like everything's going to in increments be coming through, but you can't do everything all at once. And you sort of have to go by what's available to you. Because it's not time for you to have certain things yet. It's not time for you to have certain things. It's not time for certain things to be happening that are part of this specific process. And so you can have to wait for the time to be right. So you may feel like, okay, well, I'm ready for this, but some other things have to fall into place in order for me to do that. So you have to go by doing just what you can in the moment. And then it feels like allowing space for the universe to sort of do its thing with this. There's a part of you that may not like going through processes like this because not everything is there. There's some unclear aspects of this still, and you can know that beginning the month that there's an intention to be doing something, but it's not just automatic. You have to wait for the process to unfold to see what's going to be happening. You don't necessarily know what's going to be happening, so you can feel a little bit, I don't know. The feelings that you have when something maybe isn't just a sure, definite path of how things are going to unfold. It's like, you know you're going somewhere, you just don't know exactly where. You are going to be having a breakthrough, though. I feel like this is going to clarify some major things for you. So there will be a point when you go from what's happening to knowing exactly what's happening during the month. I'd say by the not immediately. I'd say maybe a little bit before midway through the month, some stuff gets clarified for you. And you can even feel like what wasn't moving before or what wasn't revealed before is then revealed. Whatever wasn't... It's like things being up in the air and you don't know, like a dice, and you don't know what number it's going to land on. You don't know what face it's going to land on. You don't know what you're going to be seeing yet. You know that it's in the process of happening. You don't know. So with that Seven of Cups, it feels like that thing being up in the air and you don't know where it's going to land. I'm seeing that it looks like a little bit before midway through the month, you're going to see where something lands, and then that's going to sort of set the stage for what's unfolding next. So you're not going to be in that space of ambiguity for long. It just feels like maybe the first week, like this can be like maybe the first 7 days or so, like maybe around the 8th of the month. It feels like around that point in time, around or maybe after, around the 8th. 7th, 8th, that's when things are going to be clarified for you. You can feel like this puts your life on hold in a way that you do not prefer, and at the same time you can know that life is just like this sometimes. But then you'll be able to take action, then you'll be able to do your thing. So you will not be being delayed anymore, and that can be the feeling. And you will be taking action as well. Wow, I'm seeing 7 of Swords come out, but it's coming out reversed, and so this feels like anxiety not getting in the way anymore. It feels like worries, concerns not getting in the way anymore. Let's clarify that. I get this feeling like around the 7th or so of you being like, I know what to do, I know what I need to do, and then you'll be able to move through and do that. And I'm seeing no hesitation at all. But before that, the dice is in the air and you have to wait until it lands. It lands around the 7th, and then you can go from there. And at that point, I feel very much like I'm moving forward with things to do whatever it is that you need to be doing here. I feel like something gets turned around. Like a very clear conversation being had. This can be clear, decisive choice being made as well. Feels like things being exposed too. I'm not really seeing anything look like it's under the table anymore. This can be something that you've been having to sort of wait on to turn around and go in this direction. I feel like things are becoming progressive now in a way where it's like finally it feels like we're not taking any steps backwards anymore. Like it just feels like going forward. But this could have been something where there was a concern about not knowing what was going to be happening. You could have also felt too like your anxiety or your feeling of being stuck or some type of inaction that was connected with that thing being up in the air and it hadn't been landing yet. You could have really felt like you were seeing your own mind doing things, but then when it lands and you can move forward because what needs to be on the table is on the table, or whatever it is that you need to know, you can then work with because it's been put out there. It feels like things can move forward in a way where they couldn't before, and it feels like there's action being taken rather than things feeling like they're stagnating, which may initially have been the feeling in the beginning of the month, but then not so much anymore. It feels like you're not getting in your way, your mind is not getting in the way. It feels like there's especially action being taken where you may not have been able to before. Like maybe something couldn't be done. Then when this comes into play, things can be done and action is taken. And it feels like without even a second thought, that it's just like execution. I get the sense too that right now in January, you're entering into this period where you are you are becoming in charge of things, maybe in a bit of a different way than you had been before, as far as the like landscape and architecture of your life, and putting yourself in this position. I feel like part of implementing this type of thing within your life, it means that there are some things that have to be addressed. For some reason, it feels like in the very beginning, like the first week or so of January, you may not have been able to take action. You sort of had to wait for something, but then around the 7th, I'm seeing something happen where it feels like then you can sort of like put on your outfit and go do what you need to do here. And so you're not really being delayed anymore. I get this thing about no hesitation. There's no hesitation. But you may not have, like, you didn't know where things were going to land. You didn't know what the dice was going to land on. I'm seeing something here too about getting the help, maybe being receptive to help. Taking the help you can get, something like that. Something that was problematic before, I'm seeing be turned around. There can be a feeling though of you stepping up here. Before, there could have been feelings about you doing that maybe you felt held back by, but then I'm seeing that be shifted, that be changed. And I do feel like things just in general are being turned around in a direction that you want them to go. Like there's no more going backwards anymore. It's just forward now. So whatever that was, the tide changes. So it doesn't feel regressive any longer. Things feel progressive. Let's get another layer to this though. So something's been being worked out. I'm seeing whatever this is that you have going on, not being quick to do something really until it's time. This can be a big emotional choice that's being made or move that's being made here. Something that you could have, you have to work through conflict about this, about how you're feeling and what to do. Before, there could have been something though about like not getting help or someone not getting help. If that is someone around you. But then I'm seeing that change where it feels like there's a receptivity. And this can also be seeing that like transparency and honesty is the best thing for this, and that may not have been what was going on before. There could have been just something where it was like the anxiety of maybe being transparent, straightforward, something about that may have there could have been something that was being done to avoid having to face something perplexing here, a perplexing situation. I also feel too like this could have been like not wanting something exposed as well. However, I'm seeing that that's not the case anymore. Whatever this is, whatever could have been not surfaced before, it now surfaces is what I'm seeing. So there's no more stuff that looks like it's not out there anymore. And I feel too like this could have been some type of emotionally motivated choice that was being made prior, or something that was being done prior, that now there's a different way of doing things that feels more upfront here. And this can also be ways that things had been being avoided emotionally that may have just felt difficult to face. However, I'm seeing that with, I think, some patience and sticking with this, that things actually move forward. It feels like ready to do what needs to be done here, even though it may have been being avoided possibly before. So that is something that changes. But that could have also been something that was up to chance, where we didn't know what was going to be happening in that first week, but then in the second week you do see. And this can be you or somebody around you that is taking accountability, becoming in charge of their own life, or you becoming in charge of your own life in a way that may not have been what was happening before. For some of you too, you can have somebody around you that's learning from you and what you're doing. I feel almost like this way that you're setting an example, but it can just be you setting an example for somebody that you're around. Like, not necessarily thinking in the front of your brain, I'm setting an example for this person, but more so like somebody around you. It looks like they're observing you going through something that may be challenging, and you're like setting an example for them as you move through this. Because I'm seeing you be characterized here within an energy that there are things that you're facing that feel complicated, and by you working through it, there's a lot of learning that's happening. And for some of you too, you're really setting a great example for someone around you, being in a situation that may not be easy to be in, however, like delivering through that. And I feel like there is somebody that you may not like even realize at the time is observing what you're going through, and they're learning so much from you going through this process. But it feels like you're not doing it for them. It's like you're doing this for you, and you may not have even realized that you were being observed, and they're like happening to be learning from you. It's like, it's not about putting on a show for someone. Like, I'm not getting that vibe. I'm getting it be more so like you're just going through life and doing something, and you have somebody around that's watching you and what you're doing, and I'm seeing them learning so much from you going through this. This person could be learning what you're capable of as well. And I think even like what people are capable of in an empowering way. Like maybe this is something they've never seen before. Okay. We're ending with the Fool. This feels like swimming through a new situation that maybe had been being avoided before. Maybe because of putting oneself out there. I kind of get this feeling of maybe before there was an avoidance of jumping into something, that there were a lot of moving pieces to it. With this, it feels like no longer avoiding that anymore. I'm going to dive into it, as complicated as this may be, and figure things out, even though I haven't really been in a position to do this before. So it feels like maybe someone before had been shying away from a new experience, like trying something new, trying something that they weren't familiar with, something of that nature, where there's not an immediate know-how, there's a having to learn how to do that. But now I'm not seeing it be avoided anymore. It feels like there's a touching down on that land. And so this feels like a completely new, this ends up being a completely new manifestation within one's life, and the beginning of it here too. Which feels like all of this preparation that's happening to get one ready for the beginning of a journey. And by the end of January, you're going to feel like there's something brand new that's happening within your life. And that's what all of this has been about. It feels like stepping in somewhere you've never stepped before, and by the end of January, that's what's happening. Like, that's what you're being called into. That's what this new chapter is about, and it feels like it's the beginning of a very, very, very big journey that one is going to be embarking upon. There can be a lot of mixed feelings about this. There's going to need to be openness. Feels like anxiety not getting in the way anymore of my openness. I'm opening up. This is a change in the way that I'm doing things, seeing that I am capable, taking time, figuring out how to step up, how to become an authority within one's life, and also with the way that one deals with things emotionally too. Because this is not just somebody learning how to be you, learning how to be the emperor within your life. This is you figuring out how to be the most nuanced, seasoned, well-developed, evolved version of the Queen of Cups, which is really learning how to navigate through the most complex, emotional, psychological, spiritual things, and to make something of this and to shape life in a way that one wants, rather than feeling like you're just on the roller coaster. You are designing the ride, and that's what you're stepping into. And it's something that it takes time, and it takes practice, and it takes complicated situations like this to figure these things out. This is where you gain the experience, and this is where you tap into your grit as well. And so initially there can be this feeling of conflict. I see a breakthrough. I also see a new chapter. Mentally, some stuff needs to be worked out. And as things are being worked out, this is figuring out how you want to sort of take hold of this situation and shape it. And for some of you, you have something happening within a relationship with you and another person. For some of you, there can actually be a few people. I'm seeing, like, all of this can be you with you, sure. For some of you, there can be you and another adult in this situation. For some of you, there can be two kids that are involved in this too, or younger energies that are involved in this. So it looks like there can be up to 4 people immediately connected with this situation. Don't let that throw you off if that's not your story. That's just meant to be validation for those of you that there are 4 people involved. It seems like two adults and 2 kids that would be involved if that's the case. But as I said before, this can just be, it doesn't have to be that. This can just be all you. And it's going to be all you, and also it can involve other people too. You are learning how to master the relationship between the part of you that is the King of Wands and the part of you that is the Queen of Cups. The part of you that is the Queen of Cups, this is the part of you that feels everything that you're going through. Every experience, there's like some emotion that's attached to everything. There's something on an energetic level that's going on. And then the part of you that is the King of Wands, this is the part of you that takes action based off of that. So it's kind of like Queen of Cups is the part of you that you're open and you receive things, and so you have like your responses to things and you have your feelings about things. I see Queen of Cups as being like a less controlled energy. It's more so just being open to the experience that you're receiving. And then the King of Wands is the part of you that's going to then respond to what that is that's going on, and that's where your choice comes in. And it feels like this is something that's shifting. So it can be like the way that you experience things, the way that you feel things, that may not be the thing that you see change. What can be changing is what you do with that then. And it feels like you're in the process of changing your fate a bit here. And there can be some stuff here about transparency that becomes very important. And so also too, if there's anything about needing to come clean in some type of way, or just be transparent with yourself, with those around you, or wanting to be open, not wanting to hide things, not wanting to avoid things. There can be this type of energy that is shifting too. That's part of this. So it goes from something that may be more avoiding to taking on, and even seeing yourself really flourish here in a way that it was not happening before. And I think that this ultimately comes down to where you had maybe not been stepping up, and in a way where not everybody needs to step up in the same way within their lives. If there's an area of your life where you believe within yourself, like this is part of your values, that you need to be stepping up, in those areas where you're not, you don't want to be seen because it doesn't align with your values. So that's always how you know if something coincides with your values or goes against it. It's that with the Emperor, these are about choices. This card is about choices that we make within our lives and how we do things, how we handle things. It's about discipline. It's about inertia. It's about what we are building, what we are sacrificing, what we are holding together, what we are deleting, all of these different things that we are doing because we are building out the architecture within our lives. This can be somewhere where you were not doing that in a way that you felt proud of. It can be somewhere within your life where you may have been avoiding taking responsibility. Avoiding maybe getting help for something that you needed. Or avoiding taking steps that would be helpful to you. And it feels even like avoiding taking action maybe in a way that you feel you need to be. But I'm seeing this be the thing that's turning around, and so it feels like a breakthrough within that area of your life where you're seeing that you're capable, where you're seeing that you can do this. Because I think too, when we have the Seven of Swords, it's us being in some type of circumstance where we look at it and we feel like there's no way that I can do that, but I have to get something done here, and so I'm going to do it maybe in a way I don't feel great about, just so I can do what needs to be done here. Not realizing that you can do something, you can still do what needs to be done here, and you can feel good about it. You can feel proud of the way that you move through this, and that's something that you're figuring out here. And there can also be some type of thing, I feel like some type of like emotional transparency is also part of this too. Like you can be seeing some type of relationship between something that festers that we like want to keep hidden or we don't want seen, versus things that, as anxious as we can be about exposing that and putting that out there, that the truth actually empowers us, and that the opposite of the truth is something that weakens us in many ways. And this is something that's being learned about. And I feel like this is a process, like step by step. This is something that's coming up and coming out, rather than being like all at once and it being too overwhelming. This feels like incrementally this is something that's happening, and that there's a realizing that's happening too, like a learning from this. Like I don't need anybody to tell me, I'm observing what's happening here, and this is what I'm seeing. This is the realization that I'm coming to. And you're seeing that there's another way to be doing things, and it's one where you can do things and you can feel good about it too. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.